Hey, welcome to Elden Ring, one of the games of all time, where you are on the journey to commit arson, eat some crab and beat the shit out of some primordial beings with the power of racism on your side. Because everyone and everything shall all meet death by the embrace of friendship and massive genocide. Or I don't know, I have skipped all the dialogue. But honestly, it does not matter, because we are only here to get the ring that is so Elden it requires 41 other achievements. This means we will collect every legendary armament, finish the game 3 separate times and become an expert in the act of regicide. Just to achieve this perfect state of being in the lands between. To absolutely no one's surprise, this challenge was hard, agonizing and sometimes just straight up physical torture with a sprinkle of depression on top. I've played over 10 hours of Elden Ring today. I want to die. So buckle up and get comfy in your gut skin blankets because we are rapidly approaching Limgrave and the Divine Towers. Acquiring every achievement in Elden Ring will be a daunting task, so we have to create a character who radiates with the big dick energy that's required to complete these challenges with ease. Everyone meet Gobert, the most sleep-deprived tarnished in the lands between who always skips leg day, has the sharpest chin and might be on several Schedule 1 narcotics. But all of these traits just makes him the perfect candidate for today's challenge, because it will take an unraveled mind to not go insane fighting some of the bosses we will face in today's video. We start our journey with an average London midnight encounter. Experience how it feels to not be able to show the time on your phone, get absolutely wasted and then scooped off from the mud by the local tour guide, and stumble upon Limgrave. You walk past Mr. Maidenless dude because getting friend-zoned is a far worse fate than having your maiden brutally murdered, and face off against the real tutorial boss of the game, the tutorial boss of learning how to avoid enemies. Unless you're me. First try, baby. Okay, it was more like 5, but who's counting? To be honest with you, me, and for a good reason. I want to play a little game with you. Considering it took me 5 tries to elevate the 3 Sentinel Spirit into greater heights. I will let you take a guess on how many times will I die during these 3 playthroughs while I acquire all the achievements, and just for reminder, this includes bosses like Melania, Child Molester and Dog, so make your guess accordingly. You will find out how close you were at the end of the video, and if you guessed under my actual death count, please comment it. My ego demands it. Okay, game on. I touched the church site of Grace, met up with my tour guide, collected the spectral steed, and started making my way over to the physics church when... Okay, noted, don't do stupid boss fight before the build is done. I cut my losses in pride points and made my way over to the church, collected the flask and upgraded my tears. Then took a complete 180 and get it all the way to the Derryville Everjail. I feel like all of you can guess why we are here. I would like to take the weapon of this fine looking gentleman. Fuck! With the Derryville gone, I have leveled my dexterity to be able to use the Bloodhound's Fang, and made my way over to the Waypoint Ruins to fight the Pumpkinhead in order to unlock Sorceress Selen. We will need her questline in later parts of the video, so keep her in mind. After this, I've collected the Stormhill Sites of Grace, said hi to Bernal, collected Golden Vow, and hit a stuck jar guy a little too hard in the ass. Talked to D, bonked some Mariner in the head one too many times, acquired some Deathroot and the Turtle Talisman, encountered some mean knife lady at a nearby church, showed her the unlimited power of Bloodhound's finesse, chilled at the site of Grace and got invited to the Round Table Hold. With this encounter, the first achievement was obtained, only 41 more to go. After this little prep mission, I felt ready to face Margit the Fell.
Emboldened.
Mid-fight, I realized that I was indeed over-encumbered, so I quickly gave up on my longsword with the Golden Vow on it and continued the fight on a medium roll. With the help of Roger and the Bloodlust mechanic, this fight was a walk in the park, so I collected my second achievement and experienced a severe drop in frames. Opened the options menu, realized that everything is already on low, accepted my fate in 40 frames a second, collected the Ghost Stock welfare package, and into the castle I went. A misclick later, I was in the dark room where the greed got the better of me. Whatever, I got the key on the second try and ran to the site of Grace. Did some parkour, ran past the courtyard, introduced myself to the valley, collected the golden seed, and was ready to face Godric. Dismissing a little difficulty tweak, I have slain Godric with ease, and got my achievement and Great Rune for the struggles, and was ready to explore the Lake of Liurnia. Collected the Bloodflame Blade incantation alongside with the Glintstone key for the Academy, and made my way over to Caria Manor, where a friendly blacksmith kindly upgraded my gear. After bypassing the security check and the guard dogs of the manor, I took a quick detour and collected the Sword of Flame and Night for the legendary armaments achievement. Riding this wave of collectionism, I've immediately went back to Limgrave and kindly asked Bernal for his stuff. With 2 out of 9 legendary legendary weapons acquired, I've made my way over to the Weeping Peninsula, in the hopes of collecting the Grafted Greatsword with the Leonine Misbegotten achievement as well. Fucking gravity! In just 3 tries, my superior weapon skills emerged victorious. And after collecting my rewards, I took the subway down to Kaelid, where we can find the local crackhead who gives away his prized possessions in exchange for the strongest narcotic in the lands between, known as Death Root. We feed him the 1 branch we have collected so far in exchange for the Beastclaw seal. We will use this to apply our Bloodflame Blade incantation. Collected the +9 Somber Smithing Stone from the scarab below and made my way over to the rune bank of the lands between. Oh, Miss Grail, lend me thy strength. Oh, kindred. Easiest 75k runes of my life. After collecting my loan from the Dragon Bank, I took a venture into the fort behind me and collected the Redegon Sword Seal for the first legendary talisman on the list. After leaving the fort, I went ahead and collected the Somber 8 Smithing Stone, Flame Grant Me Strength, and traded my Dragon Hearts for Grail's Roar at the Dragon Communion Church, netting us the first legendary spell of the playthrough. Next stop, Redmane Castle. After an agonizing 15 minutes of walking, we arrive at the Fog Gate of Eternal Suffering for this run. The duo fight with a Misbegotten Warrior and a Crucible Knight. On the first try, I literally got 1 shot, but I still felt like I could do this, so I banged my head against this wall forged out of the Primordial Crucible 1 more time, with no success. So I went back to Stormvale and made my way over to the first Divine Tower. Ran past the golems, took the elevator to the upper floor and grabbed another achievement for activating a Great Rune. After this little achievement hunting frenzy, I traveled back to Caria Manor and decided to face off against Loretta. The first try went as expected for me, but I logged in on the 3rd attempt as always and sent her to warmer ground. Her death marked the 6th achievement on our list, 36 more to go. With Loretta out of the way, I could start the Rani questline, which first of all required the annihilation of Radahn. But the Radahn festival only starts when you reach Altus Plateau, so our next goal will be that. Psych! First we complete Raya Lucaria. With my +4 weapon sponsored by the Chad EG, I have passed through most of this zone without any trouble until I have arrived at the Wolf of Radagon, where I did my signature move of dying despite dealing 1/3 of the boss's HP with a single jump attack. Okay, greed got the better of me, but on the second try I got him with his achievement as well. On we go to Renala. First we bullied her knight out of existence, and then it was time for the main course, where I became the main course after I got turned into an expensive steak dinner by a friendly dragon. But as usual, I got her on the second try and secured us another great rune. After all of this leveling and upgrading, I felt like I was ready for the duo fight in Redmane Castle. Oh, how wrong I was. The Misbegotten Warrior has gotten pretty easy, but the Crucible Knight after him was the real obstacle. I have just died over and over and over again. After beating my head against this seemingly unbreakable wall for like a solid 15 minutes, I have swallowed my pride and moved on to do other things. First thing on the list was getting the right side of the Haelic Tree Medallion from the Albanoric village in Liurnia. And if we are already here, a little boss fight couldn't hurt, right? God fucking damn it! The second try luckily went way better. After this, I got jumped by a homeless person on my way to the Round Table Hold. Luckily, he posed no challenge whatsoever and even let me steal his drip. What a nice guy. Okay, no more wasting time. Magma Worm, Makar, here I come. But I had to climb a whole mountainside in order to get to him. On the way, I got ambushed, poisoned like 3 times and even got a back scratch from some bats. But at last, we arrived at his boss arena, where I requested my good friend Tragot's help. With his assistance, Makar quickly met his demise and we got richer with another trophy and an access pass to Altus Plateau, where I collected a couple of upgrade materials which included golden seeds, sacred tears and somber smithing stone, beat the absolute shit out of the Godskin Apostle in the Windmill Village and felt like it was time to give Elemer of the Briar a visit and collect his achievement alongside with his sword. I mean, how hard his boss fight could possibly be. This indeed went so poorly, even my PC couldn't bear it anymore and crashed after an agonizing 30 minutes, so I decided to call it a night here and come back the next day refreshed. Day 2 started off with me challenging the second demigod on our list for his great rune, Intercontinental Drip, and the achievement, of course. After pulling my signature move of spattering my blood cells all over the battlefield circa a dozen times, another demigod met his demise to our psychotic tendencies. But before leaving office, he did a little funny move and nuked a part of Limgrave as retaliation, wasting precious taxpayer dollars on the way. What a jerk. Anyway, moving Radahn out of the way opened up quite a few progression routes for us, so I decided to take the closest one and tried my luck in the Wardead Catacombs, in hopes of getting the first legendary Spiritash of the run. And let's just say that I was a bit under-leveled for this fight, but that did not stop me from trying and dying a couple of times until I called it quits. So I moved over to Limgrave to assess the damage Radahn's final orbital cannon strike did and descended into Nokron, where I faced the weakest enemy in the game, myself. Yeah, he really wasn't a challenge at all. Who could have seen that one coming? Me being the most pathetic boss fight? No way. Anyway, we got the achievement we came here for and moved on with our day to light up some fire shrines around the next area. This let us fight the regal ancestor spirit whose brother I completely forgot about during this playthrough. The curse or blessing of being the middle child, am I right? Really? No one? Okay, with the deer gone, we could carry on, knowing that only 30 achievements remain. Next stop was Nokron, where I collected the first legendary Asian remains of the run, the infamous Mimic Tear, and also got myself a Happy Meal menu at the local McDonald's where I could choose between the Finger Slayer blade or a Great Glowwort as my gift. But being the greedy bastard I am, I pulled the ever-brilliant move of gaslighting and convinced the lady behind the checkout counter that the kid behind me in the line let me have his toy, so I will take both. With my mischievous act completed, I escaped the scene of the crime and gave the knife to my girlfriend, because I've learned the hard way that you don't give flowers to a woman who is mad at you. She was thankful for remembering this and in return carved me a handmade statue. What a wonderful woman. I hope this chunk of wood won't cause me any major headaches down the line. After chilling a bit in the round table hold and pressing the skip button on everyone's dialogue, I felt like continuing Granny's questline, so I made my way over to the Karian study hall and flipped the whole thing on its head using the statue Ranny gave me. But this act has unshackled a formidable foe, who can be best described as an actual basement dweller who gets his satisfaction from pissing off people in TikTok comment sections. For his crimes, I gave him the only reasonable fate a person like him deserves: death by beheading. But before we could take the elevator down to the next zone, we have to do some parkour. Fucking grab it! Okay, one more time. After we reach the bottom and start heading towards the Great Tower, we get jumped by a morbidly obese man who likes to happily roll around and kill. But luckily bleed weapons are still too strong for this game, so we defeat him with ease and take our way up the tower, where we can collect the Curse Mark of Death. This item is like one of those company cards that lets you access certain parts of the building by a simple swipe. This one in particular opens the door for Rena's Rise in Caria Manor, from where we can take the subway system all the way to Ainsel River, where we can find a rare collectible Rani Funko Pop figurine, some terrible foreshadowing, and giant ants. Man, I hate giant ants, but not as much as I hate giant spiders. Hopefully there are no giant spider-like enemies at the end of this questline. Anyway, after I made my way through Noxtella, I took the elevator to the bottom floor. I ate shit, I beat shit. Beat the absolute shit out of the Baleful Shadow, and went on to take a nice swim in the nearby lake for relaxation purposes. Took some back shots from the nearby pedestrians and hitchhiked a ride to Astal's boss arena. Astal, Natural Born of the Void, is one of my favorite looking fights. You literally get to fight an intergalactic being in an arena that looks like the cosmos. But unluckily for him, he's too close to arachnids in resemblance, and I have arachnophobia, so I have to put him in A tier for arachnophobia. Wait, why am I ranking boss fights? This is an all achievements video, and the ranking was already done by someone else who's more handsome. Yeah, this will not look great on my resume, I figured. Okay, moving on to getting absolutely annihilated by Astal. Turns out I'm a little underleveled for this. Whoops. After realizing that Astal was way out of my league, I moved over to the Draconic Tree Sentinel. After pulling my signature move of dying at least 3 times, I logged in and played the fight perfectly. With this victory, we were in lane that my frames are fucking on capital, where we can roleplay as Edward Kenvey and perform the art of stealth assassinations and misdirections to traverse the city. After reaching the balcony site of Grace, I immediately headed towards the sewers, where I collected the +7 smithing stone which I needed in order to upgrade my weapon. Now I just have to acquire a +6 one, and I know exactly the guy who has one. Hello. With this, I could finally upgrade my weapon to +9 and was ready to take on Mount Gelmir. On the way to the top, I fought a Magma Worm and collected Comet Azure, the second legendary sorcery on the list. Fought a glorious battle against the Falling Star Beast and made my way into Volcano Manor, where after accepting the invitation, I ventured through the dungeon part of the manor, pulled up the bridge from the lava and got ready to fight the Godskin Noble. This was the first fight in a while where I just barely avoided pulling my signature move and beat him first try, netting us another achievement on the way. After this, I made my way all the way to Rykard's boss arena, collected the Serpent Hunter, tried the fight a couple of times, with each attempt going worse than the last, so I put him on the maybe later list as well. So I went back to Leyndell and decided to fight the hallucination of Godfrey. This fight went as clean as anyone could ask for it and got us another achievement, only 28 more to go, and another one is only a couple of steps away from here.
Graceless, tarnished. What is thy business with these thrones? Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Yeah, each! Okay, Morgodon, carry on. After this fight we realize that the earth tree is blocked by impenetrable thorns and get access to the mountaintops of the giants. But before I could move on from Leyndell, I went back to Godfrey's arena, took the elevator on the right side of it and collected the subscribe button. Collect yours as well with just a simple click right under this video. Okay, enough selling out. And collected the Bolt of Grand Sex. Another fine addition to my legendary weapon collection. But after this it was mountaintops time. On the journey I stopped at a nearby church and made myself welcomed, upgraded my flasks and was ready to face the giant. On the first try I did my signature move of dying with the boss having 1 HP, but on the third try I emerged victorious and crossed another achievement of the list. Talked to Melina to make the great sacrifice in order to get another achievement. 17 achievements down, 25 more to go. And we are in crumbling Farum Azula now, but I was not yet ready to take on this zone. The primary reason for this being the soft look of some quest lines if I proceeded. So I started my backtracking journey on collecting every left behind legendary item I needed for my collection. My first stop was the Waypoint Ruins where I showed Selen the Comet Azure spell and she gave me a key to get the other legendary master sorcery. But in order to get to where the spell was, I had to complete the puzzle in the town of Celia. This absolute menace of a puzzle even unlocked a boss fight, but let's just say it was not a challenge. After making my way up the slope, dodging the giant balls on the way, I have arrived at the secret wall that was the entrance for the dungeon which housed this spell. After wandering around for like 5 minutes and even beating the trio boss fight at the end, I finally found the place where Lucet was hiding, so I talked to him and he gave me the Stars of Ruin spell. 3 down, 4 more to go. Next stop was the Weeping Peninsula, where I completed the Tombsword Catacombs in order to get the Lutel the Headless Ashes legendary Asian Remain. Okay, over to our next destination where we collect the Moon of Noxtella Talisman. This zone is pretty straightforward. You just go and kill the sentient blobs and the giant balls. And after like 5 minutes of mopping up enemies from the floor, you get to the end of the zone where you will find your reward. After this I went to Altus Plateau and fought Godfrey the Grafted for the Godfrey Medallion. 3 out of 8 legendary talisman were now collected. Next stop, Elemer of the Briar. But this time I was a little bit more prepared than before and absolutely manhandled him in the fight. I've gotten his legendary sword achievement and onward I went, riding this confidence wave all the way to Estelle. Collected the ring from Renala and was ready to face the giant space scorpion. I said I was ready to face the giant space scorpion. Did my signature move of dying to assert dominance and then slayed this beast for good, collecting another achievement with it. Then I took the elevator to the Moonlight Altar, had a smooth brain moment with the nearby lizard, then proposed to Rani and collected another legendary weapon in the form of the Dark Moon Greatsword. After this I started the puzzle tower, killed the spirit beasts without any problems whatsoever. No, I don't want to hear it. Moving on. I challenged the Black Knife Assassin leader in the Everjail. This posed a bigger challenge than I had imagined, but we got there eventually and secured the Black Knife Tish Spirit Ashes. Then I went over to the tower and collected Rani's Dark Moon sorcery. Okay, we are almost done with the backtracking. 5 more stops and we are back to the boss fights, I promise. I went to Liurnia and killed Adam for the Flame of the Fell God. Then it was revenge time. You see, Crucible Knight, my powers had doubled since the last time we met.
Good. Twice the pride.
Okay, Ruin's Greatsword acquired. On to the Warded Catacombs, where I did not have any problems with the boss whatsoever. No, you're just misremembering. The death count did not go up by 1. What are you talking about? Anyway, another Spirit Ash has been added to our collection. Next up was Raya Lucaria, where I collected Radagon's icon from a chest. Yeah, that's it. No boss, no fight, no nothing. Just a chest. Okay, onward to Out's Plateau and into Sainted Hero's Grave. I quickly got rid of the Black Knife Assassin standing at the door and speedrun the dungeon to get Asian Dragon Knight's Christoph Spirit Ashes. Okay, this was quite a handful, so let's have a look at the list of what we are missing. Not counting the talisman, we are almost done with the bullshit. So, Deep Root Depths time. In order to get there though, you have to take a leap of faith from Nokron, dodge some Crucible Knights, and partake in one of the funniest fights in the entire game. I can describe how much I enjoy gang fights, where out of nowhere a second health bar just appears. Hello. And for this boss fight, it's even better, because the enemies are ginormous, and you can never feel safe in the arena. Truly, the prime Souls-like experience. And you even get an achievement for beating them, so it's just perfect. Now we can take the coffin lift all the way to Deep Root Depths, where nothing interesting happens. Although I finally acquired some drip here and faced off against fierce champions. Talked to her about the adventures I had in the lands between and entered the Deathbed Dream with her, where I got to fight the coolest looking Asian dragon, Lich Dragon Foreskin Sex. After doing my special move of dying like 3 times to power up my final form, I've beat the dragon with ease and got another achievement. 20 down, 22 more to go. Next up, I collected the Elden Stars incantation of a nearby cliff and made my way down to Siofra River, where I did the same shrine lighting journey as I did in Nokron in order to access the normal Ancestor Spirits arena. And let me phrase it this way, he almost dealt damage to me. Okay, Ancestor gone, carry on. Next up is the Dragon Soldier of Noxtella. After a bit of navigation problems, I finally found his arena, and he did not pose a challenge either. Okay, Dragon gone, carry on. After all of this backtracking, we were finally back on the mountaintops of the Giants, on the quest to get the final legendary sorcery. In order to get it, I had to navigate a nearly invisible bridge, but luckily someone's ghost helped me out. I have climbed up the tower and collected the Founding Rain of Star sorcery, and with this, I have unlocked the first collection achievement out of 4. Next up on the list was Commander Niall. Oh, hello. Fuck! Okay, we are at the castle, nothing happened. I went in, handled the lions, and ran through the entire castle. Collected the Eclipse Shuttle, legendary weapon in the church, and was ready to face Commander Bigger Spear than Dick Niall. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This sack of peeled potatoes built like a double-door cabinet managed to break something in me. With his nothing personal kid Rumbacks, 2 summons, and random as one-shots, I've reached my breaking point. If he's playing dirty, so am I. Oh, Mimic, become my blade once more. Absolutely destroyed. With Niall down, another achievement got crossed off the list, and I collected the left side of the Halictory medallion, so it was snowfill time. After navigating in horrible weather conditions, I've got ambushed by another knife lady, so I beat her with my special move. With her death though, I have collected the final upgrade material I've needed in order to plus them my weapon and get another achievement. But before I upgraded my weapon, I took a detour and lit all the candles in the nearby Ever jail, where Lee Harvey Oswald level sniper women and average Londonians try to stop you from doing so. After this lit experience, the path of the Halictory opened up, and I was ready to face the horrors lurking there. First, I had to navigate the branch area. This went surprisingly smoothly. Then we were on to the treehouse parts, where after a little misstep, I've reached the site of grace before Loretta. But before I fought her, I wanted to upgrade my weapon to +10, so I opened the map and took a quick look at Mount Gelmir's area. Then a feeling of I feel like I'm forgetting something ran through my mind, and then I realized I have never killed Rykard, so I've quickly done that. Collected the achievement for him and also for upgrading my weapon to +10, only 14 more to go. Next up, Loretta. Loretta is the Knight of the Halictory and also the Knight of Carian Manor as a ghost, so we can confidently say she suffers from multi-personality disorder. This means the fight is only fair if I bring my imaginary friend as well, and through the power of friendship, we emerged victorious, granting us another achievement. But we are not even close to being done with this area. The suffering is just about to begin. Next up is the If you ever end up down there, just kiss your runes goodbye. You are not getting them back. Unluckily for us, there is a legendary talisman in that hellhole, so get ready for 15 minutes of suffering. After an undisclosed number of tries, I finally made my way through the pit and collected the 5th legendary talisman. Next stop was the Finalation Remain. It was just a bit down the road from here and was guarded by a singular clean rot knight, so no challenge here, just an easy achievement. After this, I've descended deeper into the tree and did a little parkour for the Dragon Crest Great Shield talisman, took the elevator in the church and was face to face with the hallway. I took a deep breath and went in.
I am Melania. Defeat.
God damn it. By the way, did you guys really thought I would know Death Melania? That ain't happening, boys. Okay, second try. Okay, third try. On my third attempt, I actually got to second phase, where I really pushed my luck to its limit with this swing.
Your strength.
I have done it. With a lucky bleed proc, Melania was laying on the ground like my local alcoholics in the bar. And her great rune and achievement was mine. I quickly teleported out of the zone after this because you can just walk into someone's house, murder them in cold blood and just chill in their living room next to their decapitated corpse. That would be morally questionable. So I traveled back to the snowfield instead and ventured into a frozen cave which housed the last legendary weapon we needed. To unpopular beliefs, I did not die in this cave and got the last legendary sword quite easily, with the collect all legendary armaments achievement as well. Our next stop was Mogwin Palace, where a dubious foe resides. The zone itself is pretty straightforward. You just walk a bit more and walk a bit more until you arrive at the escalator. Taking it upstairs puts you face to face with the only being in the entire world who managed to beat the minor harasser allegations. Truly a legendary foe. Too bad he has an achievement that requires me to put him in eternal slumber. So the fight was on, and it went pretty well. Until he started his phase transition move and I realized I forgot to collect the purifying tear, so I met my bloody demise and got faced with the dichotomy of going back and collecting the tear or try to beat him without it. 2 seconds of consideration later I went with option 2, and what can I say, I might be too strong for this fight. With Mog given the reverse family of blood treatment and with only 10 achievements remaining, I was ready to return into Farum Azula. Oh, sup Leda?
To the realm of shadow where Miquella the Kind now dwells.
Maybe in another video. I arrived in crumbling Farum Azula without any problems. Speedran the zone till the Omnious room where the 2 biggest clowns in the game reside. The God's King Yua would be a fairly hard fight for most people, but I was using a bleed weapon. Anyway, Godskin's gone, carry on. I have to reverse through the zone with breakneck speed after this and quickly arrived at the last optional fight of this playthrough. With the craziest looking boss arena, Placidus X takes the cake for the coolest vibes in an Elden Ring playthrough, until you start the actual fight and just hit his tail for 8 minutes straight till he succumbs to blood loss. So to make this fight a little faster, I have requested some backup. Only this and the Niall fight created so horrible memories in my brain that I had to use the tactical mimic. Sorry. Okay, I'm not. Get back here now, you bitch! With the Dragon King down, I went on to collect the second to last legendary talisman. And then it was Maliket time. I'm not gonna lie, the Beast Clergyman was pretty easy, but Maliket, on the other hand, took a couple of attempts. But then, the stars aligned. With a lucky stance break, the dog was no more and the rune of death was ours. Endgame, here we come. Oh wait, I'm forgetting something. The last talisman for the achievement. And collected. Okay, Gideon, here we come.
Ah, I knew you'd come.
Okay, Gideon gone, carry on. Godfrey up next.
Tarnished, thy strength befits a crown.
With Godfrey down, only one boss stood in our way of becoming Elden Lord, and his name is Radagon. who I can respect, but Elden Beast I cannot. After dying to his orb attack one too many times, I got frustrated and called for my top employee. With the help of my imaginary friend, we have easily cleansed this world of the evil that was Elden Beast, and could reform this barren wasteland under the guidance of the moon and my waifu.
The battle is over, I see.
With this act, 1 out of the 3 ending achievements was acquired. Now we just have to do this 2 more times. But that's the problem for tomorrow's me, because I'm going to sleep now. With only 4 achievements remaining, I thought day 3 would be a walk in the park. Oh, how wrong I was. Out of the 4 achievements, 3 of them required the completion of the whole game 2 more times. So it was time to put on the speedrunning music and get those last trophies. Margit gaunt, Godric, not even a challenge. Makar, sliced and cooked, ready to be served. Vigor, checked. Radan, clapped. Tree Sentinel, almost hitless. Godfrey and Morgoth, deleted from existence. Fire Giant, wait, first off, Seek Ladder. I have struggled through the sewers of Leyndell, took the lift to the Forsaken Depths, and faced the last boss of the playthrough who gave me an achievement. After this, it was part 3rd time. Okay, one more time. Inherited the frenzied flame and was off to the mountaintops of the giants. Beat the shit out of the giant's ankle, listened to the call of the frenzied flame, went to Detroit, had a bumpy ride with the Godskin duo, beefed with gravity, and then it was Malikat time. Sit down. Gideon was not even a challenge, what a surprise. Then I walked up to Godfrey when I noticed a summon sign. What? Over my 200 hours of Elden Ring, I never knew you could summon for this fight. I mean, I have to try it out. Well, I guess I deserve this for summoning, but I mean, he just looks too cool to not summon him. Goodbye, Godfrey. Next up, Elden Beast, where first off I did my signature move, then it was Frenzy time. With this act, only 1 achievement remains, where we basically have to do this whole thing all over again. So, cue the music and let's get slaying. And done! We have achieved Elden Ring, all 41 achievements collected, and there is our platinum for the struggles as well. Now only 1 question remains. What is the final death count? Drumroll please. I have died a total of 217 times. Did you guess even remotely close? If not, you know the rules. It's time to subscribe.